Guys, welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. This is going to be part number 5, elk calling tips with Steve Chappell. And what I really like about this episode is he's going to specifically go into the mouth calls and the different sounds and how he makes those sounds. And he's a phenomenal elk caller. I encourage you guys to check him out at chappellguideservice.com. You can buy any of these mouth calls on his website, chappellguideservice.com. You can also pick up any of the DVDs of the Extreme Bulls 1 through 8 series. And I just thank Steve for his expertise, and I look forward to having him on this podcast. Guys, I want to thank you for your avid support, and I thank you for all of the great emails that I've gotten over the last week in support and all the cheers for me for Dara and I on our mountain goat hunt that we're going to be going on, and I just appreciate that support. If you would like to send me an email, you can do so at jscottoutdoors@gmail.com. You can also direct message me on Instagram. And I want to thank those sponsors, the 4 sponsors that sponsor this podcast. And you can look down at the show notes on each one of these episodes and find the different promo codes with the different companies and see the discounts that each of them are offering. And specifically, Go Hunt Insider, if you sign up using the J. Scott promo code, you're going to get a $50 Go Hunt Gear Shop store credit. And I encourage you to go on, check out the unbelievable resource of GoHunt.com and the Insider program, as well as the other sponsors of this podcast. And guys, let's get right to this. Make sure you pay special attention to the detail that Steve goes into on how he actually formulates each one of these sounds. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay guys, now I want to talk specifically about some of the sounds that I use on the mouth diaphragms. Some people call them mouth reeds. On my other videos I've talked specifically about how to blow them technique-wise, so I'm not going to cover that again, but I just want to cover the sounds. Okay, and the first sound with a mouth diaphragm, this is my orange estrus excited reed, which is a great cow call, is just kind of standard mews, just some people call them contact mews. I'm just going to sound like this. Okay, just something like that. What's more important is your tonal quality, more necessarily than what you're actually trying to say on the call. I always say tonal quality and emotion is what you're shooting for. Okay? Then I can bring that into a more excited level, and that's going to have more volume and a higher tone, and it's going to sound like this. So I'm going from into and let me tell you something, that turned up emotion and that turned up higher tone really gets elk to react to that. The bulls come running to it and the cows come to it too. Basically, when you walk through the woods, you make that sound, you better be ready for things to happen because elk come to that sound. So that is what I call the excited mew, okay? And then I use also what I call an estrus mew. Now, I don't just use this randomly and indiscriminately, but I pick the times that are right, that I feel are right for it. And typically that's going to be during your more peak rut times, so it's going to be a more natural type of call. And it's got a lot more growl into it. Again, if you watch my instructional videos on how I'm doing it, I'm getting that sound from my throat. But here's how that's going to sound. So you can see I can not only do the growling part, but I can also stop my vibration in my throat or activating my vocal cords, and I can push it just into that higher tone to give it that real high echoey sound. And you can probably hear the echo in the call too, and I believe that that's what really triggers a response to that, is that echoey three-dimensional quality of it. Okay, and again, guys, just like with a matriarch or trophy wife call, practice is going to be what it comes down to between success and just having real average to poor results. So you want to spend a lot of time on these calls, get comfortable with them in your mouth, get used to making different tones with them, and you're going to be able to make some of these sounds and have a lot of success. So that's basically the 3 cow sounds that I'm going to use on a mouth diaphragm. And again, this estrus excited reed is manufactured with the perfect stretch, perfect thickness of the latex to make these kind of sounds. So that's the key to getting those sounds out of the call, is having a call that's built right for it. Okay, next I'll talk about the bugling sounds that I use. And I've got 2 that are excellent for bugling, either this challenge reed or this red closer call. So I'll show you both of those. First, on the challenge, I'm just going to do what I call a location bugle. And I really, as you've seen, I really have gone to this bully bull grunt tube by bugling bull game calls. I think Rocky Jacobson hit it out of the park when he manufactured this grunt tube. And he also manufactures my diaphragms, by the way. But this, just the design of it, creates back pressure, and that's what you need for good bugling. So again, here are the sounds. This is going to be basically just a contact location bugle. Okay, again, nothing too aggressive, nothing too forceful. You're just being kind of nice and mellow on it. Again, it's going to sound like this. Okay, something like that. Okay, next, I'm going to move it up to what a lot of people call a challenge bugle, and you're going to hear the difference in emotion. Again, guys, it's all about your tone and emotion in these calls. It's not necessarily what you call the call. It's about the tone and emotion of the call itself. This is going to be a lot. It's going to be higher pitched. It's going to be more aggressive, and it's going to sound like this. Okay, louder, more emotion. You want to hit that ringy high pitch that rings a bull's ears. That's what causes them to react to it, is hitting that high tone. Again, it's going to be like this. Or okay, again, it's that tonal quality and emotion that you want to get out of the call to get a reaction out of it. So the next scale up in emotion is what some people call a lip ball. You're going to get that by vibrating your lips. Again, you can look at my other videos to see the technique of that, but it sounds like this. Okay, and if you can't get a bull to bugle to anything else, a lot of times a big mature bull with cows, he is going to react to that sound. We're kind of thinking we're hearing some elk around here too right now blowing these calls, because it is during the rut. But anyway, the lip ball is going to sound like this again. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then the chuckling, which is the hardest part, chuckling or grunting, which is the hardest part of learning to bugle, is going to be what you want to spend the most time on practicing as far as your bugling. But again, like I said in the instructional video, I don't think it's necessarily that important to use out in the woods so much so as your bugling and your cow calling. Okay, but here's a chuckle for you. Okay, just like that. It's got the out part of the call, the sucking in part of the call. Okay, and grunting is just basically a slower cadence a little bit deeper call with a slower cadence and not quite as many times. Just like that. Usually we're going to do it a couple times, 3 times maybe. Okay, and that would be grunting. Now let me get out the closer. It's a double reed call, pretty durable for bugling, actually very durable for bugling on. And a lot of guys like to cow call on this as well. I've had some guys tell me this is their favorite overall reed for bugling and cow calling. So, again, I'll go through all the calls real quick on it. So you've got your location bugle. Okay, then you've got your challenge bugle or your more aggressive sounding bugle. Okay, then you've got your lip ball. Okay, and then chuckling and grunting. Okay, and then grunting. Okay. Oh, one more sound that elk make that obviously we don't like hearing out there in the woods as an elk hunter is the bark. Okay, let me show that to you. You can also do a bark and then go into a chuckling sound, which I found a lot of bulls will actually respond to that, and that's this. Okay, again, so guys, practice is what it's all about. I highly recommend getting these calls, way before your hunt, spending the time practicing on them. They are manufactured to make the exact elky tones that you want to make out there in the woods. They're very consistent, they're very durable, so obviously I highly recommend them to you. And best of luck out there calling. I'm telling you guys, there's nothing else like it, calling elk in during the rut. It'll change your hunting, it'll change your life. God bless you and good luck on all your hunts.